Hey, it's Rob again. I'm doing a second name tag video, a movie for every letter of my name, Robert. I already did one, the first one, a sci-fi fantasy, so check that out. This is my second one, and we're going to do action-adventure today. So let's start off. Starting off with R, the first R in my name. For Robert is Romancing the Stone. Now, Romancing the Stone from 1984, starring Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, and also co-starring Danny DeVito. And this was actually directed by Robert Zemeckis, who would go on to direct Back to the Future and Forrest Gump and a lot of those Tom Hanks movies. Romancing the Stone was really exciting. It was something new for Michael Douglas. He had been a leading man before, and he'd been on TV and all that. But this one was the first time that we kind of saw him as an action kind of guy, or adventure kind of guy, and it was set in I think Colombia, and there were drug lords and all that sort of thing, and it was really exciting and kind of fun. I'm not a huge fan of Michael Douglas. I don't have a lot of his movies. I never liked Wall Street and stuff like that, but in this film, he was pretty good and it was funny. And of course, Kathleen Turner was beautiful and fun, and she went on to make a lot of different movies, and I think her own Private Eye movie, V.I. Warshawski or something. I can't remember how to pronounce her name in that movie. But yeah, really great movie from the 80s. Check it out. So that's R. With O, we're going to James Bond and Octopussy. This is from 1983, starring, of course, Roger Moore, my favorite Bond. Everybody has their own Bond. When you got a character that's running long enough like that, everybody has their favorites. Of course, my father's generation likes Sean Connery because he was the first. My first James Bond movie was Spy Who Loved Me, so I kind of was introduced to Bond through Roger Moore, to the more lighthearted period, 70s and 80s, and it was perfect for that. I much prefer it to the grim guy that we got now. I know that kind of humor and almost farcical type of approach wouldn't work today, but they've gone way too far in the other direction. But anyway, that's something else to talk about, and when I actually do this video on just this movie. This also co-starred Maud Adams, who had also been, she plays Octopussy. Great name, by the way, of course. I mean, really. Only in a James Bond movie, and only in a Roger Moore James Bond movie. She plays the title role of Octopussy. She had also been in The Man with the Golden Gun in the 70s. She had played Scaramanga's girlfriend. Scaramanga, the bad guy, played by Christopher Lee. So she was one of the few actresses, maybe only actress up to that point, who had been in 2 Bond movies. I mean, not counting like Moneypenny and stuff like that. So. This also co-starred Louis Jourdan as the bad guy, the villain. He's the guy from Gigi. It was kind of a weird choice, but I think he worked pretty well. I didn't really know that much about his history. I had seen him here and there before, but yeah, I thought he played a pretty good villain. It was directed by John Glenn, who directed a lot of these James Bond movies, and I think it was pulled from a short story, so it was mostly an original story, but it had little allusions to the parts in the short story and some other short stories. So it's got a great opening sequence with the little mini jet and stuff, so check it out. It's one of the best of the Roger Moore movies. Okay, so moving on to B, I have Blind Fury. This is from 1989, stars Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner fame. He was also in a movie called Lady Hawk with Ferris Bueller himself, Matthew Broderick. I love this movie. It's this little cheesy movie, and it's about this guy who was blinded in the war, and then he was trained to be like a super blind samurai, and his senses are all hyped up, and I found out recently that this movie is actually a loose remake of a series of films, or a film from Japan called Satoichi, The Blind Swordsman. Apparently there's a lot of these movies starting from back in the 60s, and of course I have to have these movies now. I haven't gotten one yet, but I'm definitely going to order one. I saw bits of it on YouTube, and as a matter of fact, I think you can actually see the entire first film on YouTube. I think I saw that one. really cool films. And apparently the same actor played him for 20 years and even did a TV series and such. But I'm definitely going to get that, and we'll do one of these little videos for that. So, okay, Blind Fury, check it out. Really good movie, really fun. Okay, next up, letter E, we've got Executive Decision. This is from 1996, starring Kurt Russell. He plays a U.S. government consultant. He actually is not the action guy the way he is in his other films. He's kind of like the pencil pusher who of course is put in the position where he has to do action stuff. He plays more of an everyman in the situation, not far from Snake Plissken. It also co-stars Steven Seagal in yet another amazing acting turn. Fortunately, he doesn't make it through most of the film, so otherwise it would be too much good acting. Let's see, also co-starring Halle Berry, and it all mostly takes place on a plane, so it's one of those suspense kind of action thrillers in a small space. And also John Leguizamo, not that John Leguizamo, this John Leguizamo, yeah, and he plays one of the soldiers, and yeah, it's a pretty exciting movie. It's pretty suspenseful, and Kurt Russell as always does a great job. He's just whether he's playing the action guy who knows what he's doing, or even the everyman, he did a good job on this, and yeah, really liked it. So I really recommend Executive Decision. So for the second R in my name, I have Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves from 1991. Starring Kevin Costner as Robin Hood, Mary Elizabeth Mastriantonio, right there, if you pronounced her name correctly, Morgan Freeman, Christian Slater, he's in that too, plays Will Scarlet, and of course Alan Rickman, as he was introduced. I'm sure he was around before, but for us anyway, he was introduced to us, and of course stole every scene he was in. Much like he does in most of his films, even Harry Potter films. He plays the Sheriff of Nottingham, who apparently is named George. I don't know if that's really the way it always was, but in this movie, apparently I'm the Sheriff of Nottingham. My name's George. So, but this movie was a pretty big hit. It's my second favorite version of Robin Hood, my first being, of course, take a guess, Errol Flynn's version. But and some people criticized Kevin Costner's acting and his British accent, which wasn't great. But this movie just has a sense of heroism that you rarely have anymore. There are many scenes, which I'm not going to go into because this is a 2-disc special edition, which I would definitely do an episode on. But it just has a way of approaching heroic scenes and stuff that just kind of almost chokes you up at times. It's almost classical in that way. So definitely a great movie. Check it out from 1991, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Okay, so lastly, for the T in my name, we have the Three Musketeers. Definitely a swashbuckling adventure. This is from 1948, starring Gene Kelly, of course, great dancer Gene Kelly, Lana Turner, June Allison, and Vincent Price, and just so many other people here, which again I'm not going to go into because I definitely am going to do an episode on this one, because this is hands down my favorite version of the Three Musketeers. There have been a lot of movie versions, and it seems like they've only gotten worse and worse, and the last one they had flying ships and just, and everybody's always in black leather and just oh, come on. So not my thing, but for me, this is the best one. It's very well known for its great fight choreography. We got Gene Kelly in there, who was at the top of his game here, and just, jumping around and just have that dancer's moves and stuff, and just a lot of humor. And, if you know the story, it gets pretty dark there. So it's amazing that they're able to put so much humor into it, and then when it leads into the really serious tone. Interesting, some of this footage from this movie was actually used in Singing in the Rain later, in this little part where they're showing a movie, and the actors are in this swashbuckling movie. And when you watch this, I remember when when I watched it, I was like, that looks familiar. So just a great movie, just a lot of fun. This is the old time. I think it was made by MGM, even though here it says Warner Brothers, but or at least distributed by MGM. It certainly has that MGM feeling. It's got all the stars and but Technicolor, and it's got, you don't see colors like this, of course, in movies these days. So it's just very much of that time, and just a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. So that's it. That's the action adventure genre of my name. I'm going to see if I can find any more genres I can do. Sorry, my voice is going. Like I said before in my last video, of name tag, I'm having trouble with the O's, so I'm not always finding O's, so I have to look around a little bit, and maybe I can actually find one somewhere and buy one. But okay, so check out these movies. You'll love them. Name tag, that's my second one. Okay, keep watching movies. Check it out. Bye.